Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Daryl and Boo's Weekly Updates, a wholly owned subsidiary of the Daryl and Boo Show, for December 14th, closing in on Christmas. How was your weekend, Boo?
Yeah, it was good. We went mountain biking. We got that in on the weekend. We didn't go skiing in the same day, although Cypress Mountain had one of the chairlifts go down. There's two main chairlifts there, and one of the chairlifts was down on Saturday afternoon. And according to their email update, might not be up until Tuesday. So we could have gone on Sunday, but then figured we didn't want to add to the strain of that lineup, nor did we want to sit in it. But I figure there's folks, we have season passes, but there's folks who have bought tickets who should probably get as much time in there as they can. So we avoided that.
Nice of you.
Yeah, and then otherwise, last night, maybe instead of going skiing, we played laser tag outside of our house. And so the neighbors probably thought we were crazy, but we're just finding something to do with the kids. And so they have these Laser X things. If folks haven't seen them, you can get them at Costco or Toys R Us or wherever. But, you get a little shield thing that lights up here. That's your target. And then you get a gun attached to that. So we have a set of those. So we're running around in the streets last night.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you?
It was a nice weekend. It was a friend's birthday on actually it was birthday on Wednesday, but we did a virtual celebration on Friday night over Google Meet. Everyone dressed up in their finest Hawaiian gear, and we did our best to pretend like we were all together and having a party, but it was fun. Then Saturday went over to the North Shore for a bike ride with the guys. Which unfortunately we just, if we had the right bikes, we had mountain bikes, it would have been great. We just did Mount Seymour Demonstration Force, which is, I'm sure most of the people have been out there, but it's beautiful. You're kind of just riding on the road though, right through the forest. So we all just had road bikes, and we got at it pretty early. So it started off fine, and we gorgeous sunny day, but by the time we got a few kilometers into the forest, it was basically the road was just frozen over. So we decided it was in the best interest of all of our health to cut the ride short and turn around. So, but we made the best of it, went back in the parking lot and caught up a little bit in lawn chairs out in the sun, which was kind of nice. And Sunday was the usual, just getting a few things done. Always watch the Seahawks on Sunday if they're playing. And nice weekend all around.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I think we've got our good friend Rick Salsa eating in the wings here. Maybe we can bring him on and say hello.
There he is.
Morning. How's it going?
How are things going?
We're doing good. Yeah, I mean, we've, I think the last time we had you join us was probably several months ago. So Rick, if for the people who are long-term watchers, viewers of the show, Rick is based in Kelowna and the third person in F5 who's domiciled in BC. reminder, Rick, your role kind of tends to change almost year by year, depending on what the company is demanding of you. But what are you working on these days?
Yeah, thanks. Great to be back, guys. So these days I'm still working within F5 Cloud Services, which, as you guys know, and hopefully in case our viewers don't know, but is F5's software as a service platform. And specifically within F5 Cloud Services, I focus on DNS. So we have our DNS service there. Last time we spoke, I was talking about our LTM integration with our DNS load balancing software, or DNS load balancing service. And I guess it's timely because we just launched another new feature to the service. So in public preview today is our primary DNS offering. So basically what that means is customers can actually manage their DNS zones 100% with F5 Cloud Services. Up until today, it was essentially secondary. So we were kind of acting as your backup if you had a primary DNS service, which could have been on-prem. But a lot of our customers were asked, after using that service, they were asking, actually, we'd just rather do everything with F5 and manage the zone with you guys. And so we just launched that into preview at the end of November, and it's in preview right now. And so we're taking feedback, kind of iterating on that feedback and working towards GA, hopefully in early next year.
Awesome. What's involved in preview? Is it, can a customer effectively just go and register to sign up, or is there kind of a list of customers, or how does that work?
Yeah, so this particular preview is open. So we call it our public preview. So all you need to do is just go to F5 Cloud Services portal page, sign up if you don't already have an account. And on the home page there's a nice little card with a little preview icon that says primary DNS. They just need to hit subscribe. And once you do that, it'll take you probably maybe 2 minutes to get it set up. And then you're off and running to the races.
Wow, cool. So I love about cloud services. I mean, we launched not that long ago, and it's amazing how the portfolio of services has evolved already, and I'm guessing it just will continue to. So.
Yeah, so I think if I remember back correctly, around September 2019 is when we initially launched kind of the initial service, which was our secondary DNS service. And since then, we've got Essential App Protect, which is our web application firewall. We've got Beacon, which is kind of our visibility and analytics tool. The DNS service kind of continues, and then there's quite a few interesting things coming down the pipe. There's other F5 services coming from the security product group, from our Nginx product group. So next year is going to be really interesting. And I think our Shape group just launched something called Device ID, which is a really interesting new service. It's free to customers. It allows you to just embed a little tiny JavaScript file within your website, and allows you to kind of build a digital ID, if you will, of your users. Kind of is based on the underlying technology that Shape uses for detecting the difference between a bot and an actual real live user on your website. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a bit of a game changer for the F5, but our customers. Once they really get a sense of what it can do, I think a lot of people, rightfully so, see something as a free service and go, okay, well, it's kind of watered down and it's not going to really do anything. Device ID is not like that at all. It actually gives you the ability to do a lot and kind of customize things on your own. But very cool that we're actually integrating it with cloud services.
I'll point people to, now there's not a lot of interaction on here, but if you go to subscribe2.boozehour.com, that is a domain that I own. And so that's actually running off of the primary DNS service. It's actually protected by Essential App Protect. And it runs Device ID on there as well. So the cookie's running, as Daryl was mentioning, I can then use the information from that cookie to put together my own stuff, or it kind of gives, folks an idea of, once you start getting that visibility, the visibility will come into cloud services soon enough. But once you get that visibility, you can start having more intelligence and enrich your logs themselves. So we've chatted with folks who have something like Splunk already in their environment. So, just simply logging the information from that into Splunk just kind of enriches what you already have coming in from your other data services.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got our first request from enhancement from Boo, I think. So
yeah, it came in
from the public
got,
preview service. So, there's definitely some white glove, treatment going on for customers. So yeah, anybody that signs up for the service, we'll kind of have some in-app, pop previews, or I guess surveys, looking for some feedback. But essentially, kind of in that period, we're just letting customers kind of try it out, see what it has to offer, and have some conversations with myself and the engineering team to kind of let us know what they're looking for in a service, and that kind of helps us determine where the product goes and kind of like next steps in terms of roadmap and adding things to the service.
Yeah, nice.
I've talked about it before, but with Essential App Protect, we've talked about this as well. But normally with the Big IP product line, for changes inside of TMOS, Traffic Management Operating System, if somebody wants a change in there, they come to myself and Daryl and say, hey, this would be really cool if we had this feature. And then the process around that is called an RFE, request for enhancement. And so fill it out, give a business case for why this should actually be in the product, get a whole bunch more customers to pile on and say, yes, we also would like a feature like this. And then see if it actually gets into the product. But with cloud services, it's been awesome because, hey, here's a use case that would be really cool. We could speak with the product owner for that. Similar thing, we're making a request, but you guys are iterating the product so often that instead of it being like a year to wait for a feature to come out, it could potentially come out. It could already be being baked and being thought about, but it could, potentially come out within a month or two. No promises there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of one of the benefits of moving towards like a managed SaaS service is simply that, right? So you don't have to worry about operations anymore. That's all, offloaded onto the team that actually runs the service. So our team. And in terms of adding functionality, we've been, we launched preview like I said at the end of November. We've already added, within 2 weeks a few new additional capabilities, and we kind of plan to do that throughout the preview period until we get to kind of like the feature set that we want for general availability. But yeah, that's the nice thing is we can kind of use new kind of techniques that are commonly used in SaaS services, right? So we can kind of roll a feature out to like a very, very small subset of users. We can actually, it's instrumented, so we can kind of get feedback from how it's being used. Actually, is it being used? Things of that nature. So it really allows us to kind of, experiment, if you will, with some of these things. And I know when people kind of hear, production and experiment, they might, kind of, get their back up, but it's really kind of, small things that, small tweaks to the design, small tweaks to the workflow that we want to improve. And then we kind of, look at the results of the experiment and then decide, did that variation work or the other variation work, and roll out the one that kind of is successful. And we're going to also use it kind of moving forward, as we add new features, customers that, have expressed that interest in like an enhancement, as you mentioned, Boo, we can kind of flag their accounts. They can try it out. They can give the team kind of direct feedback. Does it work? Does it not work? What is it missing? And then we use that feedback to improve it. And then, once it gets to a place where we're comfortable with it, it meets kind of all our requirements, and then we kind of essentially slowly roll that out to the rest of the user base. So it's pretty awesome, the capabilities that you have with the SaaS product. And as you mentioned, Boo, we're all longtime F5ers here, so we know the change windows. We know how long it takes to kind of get these things into production. So it's super flexible that way. And that you don't have to worry about that anymore, right? So you know that those changes are coming, and then essentially you're just getting release updates every time you log back into the system saying, hey, this has been added recently, this functionality is there now, and you're off and running.
Yeah, it's cool. We've actually had a few of our customers here in BC had their RFEs on Big IP put into production, which was pretty cool. But yeah, that's to both of your points. That process could take 6 months or a year to actually come to fruition, and this could literally be done in weeks or months. So yeah, pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's no hardware refresh cycles, and those longer processes. And the Big I team is also adopting, the processes that are used within cloud services. So, the Big I team is definitely a lot more agile, a lot more iterative these days. The software development practices have improved tremendously. So even, even within the Big IP environment, it's a lot easier for us now to kind of build these things out, bake the ISO images, get them all out so we can update. But, when you're doing software and the service is constantly running, it's a little bit easier to kind of like trickle these up, these individual updates out a lot more easily.
Yeah, cool.
Totally. Well, as we mentioned, Rick is from Kelowna, and as we do on the Daryl and Boo show, we bring up some of the current events to talk about. And being from Kelowna, I thought this was interesting for you, Rick, is Friend Winery.
Yeah.
So for folks who haven't noticed them before or pick up on the last name Friend, this is the original founder of Plenty of Fish. He's got into the wine business as of the last few years. He's bought up 900 acres in the Okanagan. So he's going to have tremendous volume. And I've ordered some of his wine, and it's fantastic wine. Now, what he's doing here for the season, Rick can book a igloo dome, outdoor igloo dome, for 6 folks, all heated. And let's see here. You can do a wine tasting. It's actually pretty nice. Wine tasting, $10 a person. High tea for $45 a person, or $110 for dinner, but it's a 5-course wine paired meal. So not terrible actually for a dinner. You can book that.
I'm gonna have to get out on my deck and see if I can actually see across the lake and see that. So
like snow globes or something like that. It's,
yeah. So that's on the west side, of Kelowna, across on the other side of Okanagan Lake. I'm on the east side, looking out in that direction. So it's literally right across from my deck. So I should probably be able to see it if I pull out a pair of binoculars or a telescope and kind of take a look over there.
Every time I talk to you, Rick, I'm more and more jealous of your living situation.
Yeah. This winery is actually a really interesting story because nobody really thought you could do anything agricultural wise on that land. And so he definitely did put a lot of his own, investment into that area and that land, and they transformed it like completely. Nobody thought you'd be able to grow grapes and build a vineyard on that land. So it's pretty awesome what they've actually done over there. Yeah.
Some of that is, if you read through some of his background there, it's very data driven as well. Yes, so he has like all the, folks they'd normally use historical weather maps, but he's going to be doing like a lot of data analysis on weather patterns. And he's already made his decision clearly that is the place that he wants to grow grapes. But he believes that he's going to have pretty unique grapes coming out of there, and he has the volume to produce at a cheaper rate, and he has direct distribution, direct selling as well. So he's getting around the BC Liquor distribution a bit by going direct. So it should be interesting to see this guy and how he approaches business and turning that into wine.
Yeah, definitely indeed. Yeah, there's an individual within the Okanagan here that is kind of the, he's the top wine consultant. So all of the wineries in the Okanagan region are usually kind of, reaching out to him. And so I know the two of them actually work together quite a bit to kind of, determine what they were going to grow there, how they're going to lay it out. So and it's definitely data driven for sure. There's a lot of big machinery kind of, prepping that area for the vineyards. And it's gorgeous. It's a beautiful space. If you're in the Okanagan, that's definitely one of the wineries on that little part of the loop on Boucherie Road to definitely go check out.
Yeah, cool.
Now, Rick and I always talk about fitness a little bit. Today, this was announced a while ago, but today is the launch of Apple Fitness Plus. So a streaming service for your fitness. Along the lines of Peloton stock price just went crazy this year, as is anything kind of home fitness related. Very hard to get fitness equipment. And then, Apple's capitalizing on this as well with their Fitness Plus. And so you can have streaming fitness. I believe you just need a kettlebell or a dumbbell to do this stuff. Syncs up with your watch. Stream it to your TV on your Apple TV service, and that's out today. And I think it's $12. Let's see. You get high intensity training, strength training, yoga, dance, core, cycling, treadmill, rowing, mindful cool down.
Yeah, my wife is she is big into yoga, and obviously that's all been shut down for quite some time. So she's doing all of her fitness just on watching Google. So she's already kind of tired of the people because you run through them pretty quickly and you've learned their moves and their voices, and it just gets tiring. So to have something streaming, which is a little bit more live, is a pretty good concept.
Yeah. So who's in? Are you guys in? Are you gonna try? You gonna try it out?
I will actually take a look at it. I mean, so I have my gym that I go to, although the varying protocol for using the gym just changes every few weeks. It seems like these days, from masks on in certain areas, or having to have your mask on completely inside, or having workouts are a little bit different. They do offer a virtual option as well, so not a terrible idea, but this will be interesting to check out and see how they're approaching the business. Peloton's proven it out at this point. Peloton went from a bike to a treadmill as well, and then they have, I believe, our other regular guest on here, Peter Scheffler, talked about the newer bike that came out and has the screen you can swing out, and then you can do your workouts are included in your service as well, so you can swing the thing out and actually do your workouts from there, outside of the bike stuff. So yeah, I'm interested to see how all these services get on with the kind of stuff. Yeah,
the integration looks like really slick. When they had the Apple event and they announced it, with your Apple TV and all the stats showing up on the watch, it's pretty interesting. I'm curious to see if they tie it into the whole, gamification in the app, right? So, the activity app where you can kind of, invite friends and gamify it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out. But yeah, Peloton is just ridiculous. Like, I think everybody I know in the US seems to be getting a Peloton lately, or a Tonal. Tonal seems to be the other interesting one. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Tonal device at all. So Tonal is actually interesting. It's a device you mount onto the wall, and it's got a built-in LED TV, and it's kind of I can't remember if it's magnetic or electronic resistance, but you got two movable arms on it that you can essentially use with pulleys that you can basically pretty much do almost any type of exercise on it, right? Lower body, upper body workouts. It's kind of almost like the I can't remember the name. You would have seen, if you're in the gym, you see them. They're those big machines with kind of the pulleys. You see everybody doing those cross rotational movements with them. Right. So kind of Tonal is similar to that. Is kind of very like that, but it's got a kind of like Apple Fitness and Peloton. You can kind of follow programs in there with instructors in the workout. You get that feedback real time, and it actually adjusts the resistance based on your movement. So you can actually, as you're pulling, it can increase the resistance kind of once you get past those sticky spots and it gets easier. They can actually amp up the resistance. So a few, hardcore individuals are saying, they've not felt that kind of soreness from a workout in a long time until after they use that Tonal, because it just, the entire range of the movement, it hits you. So it's a really interesting space.
One of our customers, Lululemon, acquired company called Mirror, I think, which is looks like just that, a giant mirror, and it will take you through a number of exercises on your own too. So it's really interesting to see how that goes. I thought that was an interesting acquisition for Lululemon.
Yeah, getting into technology.
Yeah,
I saw one as well, Rick. That Tonal one is wall mounted.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So there's this one that that I just recently saw as a prototype, but it's actually a box that you would stand on, and then there is a cable that comes out of it, but it has pulleys and it has adjustable resistance based on an app as well. So that'll be interesting because that one is probably more, pulling from down up versus maybe off of the wall and across. Maybe somebody's just got to combine the two and then just have some way that the pulley can come from wherever you need it to come from.
I wonder when these things inevitably break, who do you call to have them fixed?
Probably Skynet.
Yeah. Something to having a bench and some dumbbells in terms of.
Well, I find it really interesting, like with Apple and all of these, Apple's essentially going to come out with a subscription for pretty much every aspect of our life very soon, right? Like it just seems like, the depth of the services they're going in on is I don't know. They keep surprising me, right? So it's just going to be, one massive subscription. It's either going to be to Apple or you're going to do it to Google.
Yeah.
Right.
Resistance is futile.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that kind of brings us to this. ICBC, who Daryl and I know have been going through some transformation in how they do their insurance. Auto insurance renewals will go online starting in 2022. So
fantastic.
That whole, I just recently had to renew insurance on one of my vehicles, but it was a process, and especially right now, it was a process because you can't. The building that my insurance place is in, they could only allow a couple of people in at a time, and so I had to sit outside, wait in the car, ultimately go in and do nothing other than just show them my insurance papers, let them type a whole bunch of stuff, and then manually signing something. And finally getting to the point where we can hopefully just click and renew our insurance services online, and then turning that more into just, a subscription service. Well, it is essentially a subscription service, to think of it more like how we normally envision subscription services now for our auto insurance should be a lot nicer.
Does it say if they're keeping the independent brokers involved in that process? I guess it's still early, so they're probably not commenting on that.
That is a good question.
Wow. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how they connect that all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use BCA for my premium pieces of my insurance, and actually, I think I could. No, I couldn't do the renew. Oh no, my BCA renews automatically online. It was only my ICBC portion, base insurance that I had to renew in person. Although I could have done it, but over the phone as well. They mentioned that.
Again, interesting. Canada usually trending later than what's happening south of the border with these sort of things.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Here's another one. I know Rick's a foodie as well. Now, I only just discovered Iberico ham about a year and a half ago with my previous boss Pat, who is Italian and very educated in this stuff. Now, I think this place is fairly new. ABC Iberico Imports. I think it's in Richmond, if I'm not mistaken. Now there's a giveaway on here for one of these pieces of ham. This is, maybe you can judge the size based on this picture, but how much do you think this piece of ham costs?
Oh, that got to be at least $300, $400.
Yeah, Daryl?
I would have guessed way less than that. Obviously, Rick knows more about this than is it just.
I could be wrong.
I would say, $50 or something like that.
For folks who aren't familiar with Iberico ham, it's basically pigs that have been fed acorns their entire life, and then bred just to. I think there's some other stuff too. Maybe they rub them in salt or something like that. But very special ham, 20 months to cure. This ham. This piece of ham is worth $360. So Rick was dead on. You don't win anything for this, but good job.
Bragging rights.
Yeah.
you could win on this. But yeah, the ham, that plate there, a piece of that ham, you stick it in your mouth and it just melts like butter. Absolutely delicious stuff. And I'm spoiled now for having tasted that and wanting to have more of that.
Is this Italian in its roots? Like, is it the Italians who kind of started doing this, or?
Yeah. There's a couple, after I tried it out, there's a couple of YouTube videos that Pat mentioned I should check out, and them going through the process. And it's a big business over there. The curing is such an important piece of the process as well. And then you go into they show the vaults that they're cured in, and there's probably millions of dollars worth of these hams that are hanging up there. But pretty nice stuff. Crazy.
Well, I'm just noticing we're at the bottom of the hour, so that blew by quickly. Great to see you, Rick.
Yeah, likewise, guys.
Happy holidays to you and your family. I'm sure you guys are going to get up on the mountain over the holidays or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, definitely. So Big White Ski Resort is the closest one to us. I think I've probably been up 4 or 5 times. Nice. I've got a lot of vacation time, as I'm sure most of us do, because we've all been working home. We forget to take that time off. Yeah. So I've kind of been taking some weekdays off here and there, and taking the kids up with us. So it's a little bit quieter. We went up opening weekend. It was pretty busy, just with all the social distancing that's happening in the lines. So for us, anything more than, a few minutes to get up the chair is
intolerable.
Intolerable. So having to wait like 10 minutes was, was just absolutely, dreadful for the kids. The boys were just,
end of the world. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, enjoy. Great to see you again. And
likewise,
have you back on the show again in the new year.
Yeah, I would love to. Yeah. Happy holidays, guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Best to everyone.
Everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks for checking this out today. If you're watching via YouTube right now, go ahead and click subscribe down below. Also click the bell for notifications. That way you will find out when we are dropping a new video or when we're going live. Also, there's darylandboo.com. If you head over to that, leave your name and email address, we will drop a weekly technical newsletter in your inbox every Monday. Also, this is available via podcast, Apple, Google, Spotify. Head over to one of those, hit subscribe, and you'll be able to listen to us in the car on your commute or during a walk or a run. Thank you very much, and we will see you next time.